Well, hello there. If you are hearing my voice, then you have registered for Facebook Ads for Financial Professionals with CPA Site Solutions. I'm seeing some people are still trickling into the proverbial room, so I'm going to give it a couple more minutes here before we get rocking and rolling, and then we'll be cognizant of time so you can get back to your busy work days. I'm looking at the ticker and people are just rolling in. Must be a nice busy Valentine's Day out there. So just so you all know who you are hearing, my name is Liza Smithvetter. I am the sales manager here at CPA Site Solutions, and I have a very long history with integrated digital marketing, and I am really excited to be presenting today to tell you about this solution. It is one of the solutions that I love the most because it has always really delivered great results for the people who I've worked with. So I'm excited to be your presenter today. Just to give you guys a sense, this presentation is going to be pretty quick overview of the sort of power of social media, why it's important, and then we're going to dive into sort of what the difference is between social media and social media advertising. And then we'll talk about what our solution looks like and how it solves a lot of the really inherent problems in managing these sort of things for yourself, and how we've really made sure that that works for you and the kind of work that you do and the sort of business scale that you're working at. So I'm really excited to present this to you. And it looks like we're slowed down here. So I'm imagining most people are probably with us who are going to be with us. So again, just by way of a reminder, the email would have told you this, but this presentation is always recorded. It's being recorded right now. I'm just double checking. Looks like things are all systems go. And so you don't have to worry about taking a bunch of notes. I tend to free associate a little bit, so not everything will be on the slides, but you'll have the recording of my voice, and so you'll be able to go back and listen again if you want. We do that so that if you get distracted, it's not a big stress, and so that you can also go back and learn, remind yourself of things, and also share this with any other decision makers who might need to be convinced that this is a good idea. We know that for you, a lot of you, the people who are making the decisions are pairs of people or teams of people. And so we have a lot of conversations with individuals, but sometimes a few conversations have to happen after the fact to get everybody on board. And we understand that. So this will be made available to you via email so that you can share it with anybody you like. And then ultimately it'll be available on our website as well. So I'm just taking a look here. So what we're going to do today, like I said, is talk about the general information you need to understand about the social media landscape for business people and financial professionals. And then we'll dive into the ads. I understand that some of you are very new to this landscape, and some of you are actually current clients of ours who may already have some products in this space. So I will try to have an opportunity here to sort of highlight both how this pertains to you if you're just getting into this space, as well as how this can complement what you're already doing, because this is a broad category of people sort of on this call today. I'd also like to take 1 second to say hello to my wonderful staff, who I know are pretty much the entire group is listening today, because they are so excited about this product. This is one of those solutions that is like hard not to get super enthusiastic about. And they are all just having so much fun, helping people learn about it, selling it. And so they are waiting to have conversations with you guys about this solution after you learn a little bit more and decide if it's for you. So they're also in the conversation with us, and they will be able to answer questions that maybe don't get answered at the end of this session. There is the opportunity to go ahead and put questions in, and so that will happen at the end. I'm a solo practitioner here. I'm running the show in the room by myself, so I'm not going to be able to field the questions as we go. So I'm going to go through the presentation. At the end, I'm going to take as many questions as possible. And then again, your internet marketing advisor or your account advisor is always there ready to answer nitty-gritty questions for you, detail specific questions that really pertain just to you and your business. That's what they are there for, and you should really, really take advantage of their incredible depth of knowledge and the fact that they serve clients who do pretty much just what you do all over the country. We've got, between 7,500 and 8,000 clients at any given moment. And what we do is concentrate on how to deliver the best results for people who do something very similar to what you do. We've got great competitive knowledge that we bring to the table. So take advantage of that and give them a call. All right, so it looks like our attendees are all here, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So everybody always says that and then can't get the first slide to load. Okay, so our agenda here is pretty straightforward. We're going to talk about the benefits of being in a social media space and then the benefits of Facebook advertising specifically. Then we'll talk about some of the mechanics of how they work. Honestly, I could do a 3-day lecture on how Facebook ads work and get programmed, and none of you really need that level of detail. So it'll be a little bit high level, and then we'll talk about how we have crafted something that's specific for you, that's really going to work to solve your needs for increasing your branding and your lead generation. And I always say this is a great place to work because we concentrate on the needs of a very discrete population. So we really get to become experts. So we get to take this general knowledge about something like Facebook ads, and then we get to really apply it in a very expert way to a very narrow vertical. And that's really what sets us apart. And that's why I'm so excited today, because I know we have something to offer you that's not just great, but it's the best option for you. So I'm just going to take 1 second to just make sure that I don't have any questions about sound. Okay, good. Seems like everything's okay. So let's talk for a second about just social media presence in general. So like I said, I want to speak to both sort of newer users as well as those of you who are more experienced. So the question people always say is like, oh, social media, meh. Like, people spend too much time on it. It's irritating. People do a lot of sort of complaining about social media and how much it invades their lives. Now, here's the thing. When you're thinking about a platform like that from the standpoint of an advertising perspective, something that people can't tear themselves away from is something that you want to be thinking about, right? So social media is a space that traditionally, we're going to say Facebook. We're using Facebook as a shorthand for social media. There's lots of other social media platforms, but we're talking about Facebook ads today, so we'll say Facebook. When Facebook began, it was really just a way to chat with people who you wouldn't have physical proximity to, quickly, easily have group conversations. And it essentially was just like a new age party call, right? It's just this way to connect with people, and people dismissed it a little bit at first because it was just seen as something that was for fun. It was just for your social life. But what it has become, as it's evolved, become more sophisticated, is really the primary way that people tap into their communities to really figure out what they need to know about events that are happening, about the news of their local community. My background is actually working in advertising departments at newspapers, and I will tell you that one of our biggest competitors was Facebook, because people go there for all sorts of information. We had a huge snowstorm in Vermont yesterday. People go to Facebook to figure out if the schools are closed. And now, thanks to the development of this medium, people use it to research businesses. So when we talk about the importance of having a presence in social media, it's for 3 different reasons. The first is that it's part of your branding sort of initiatives. Secondly, it allows you to capitalize on word of mouth. And thirdly, it actually generates leads for you. I always like to take a second when I talk about this and say, if you've been in business for a really long time, you'll remember the good old days / bad old days of marketing, where in order to really, really build your brand, it was actually pretty straightforward as long as you had budget. And I always think, I know that this digital room is full of people of every age, but I sit sort of in the middle of that spectrum. And I started my career kind of in the old days where all you had to do is just scrape up tons of money, and then you could buy a billboard, you put something in the newspaper, magazines, radio, TV, you're on the nightly news, the Sunday paper, and now your brand is everywhere. If you don't know the importance of branding, I'll remind you that the point of branding is two things. It's one, it's to build credibility. People want to understand that you are a reliable, credible, trustworthy business. But the other thing that branding does is it helps people feel familiar with you or think of you when they're ready to transact. They have some sort of business they need to do with somebody in your line of work, right? So that's great, but we know it's always been very expensive. And the best leads actually always came through word of mouth. And this has always been the criticism with advertising. It's like, oh, I spent all this money on advertising. I don't know if it's working. And really, my best leads are just, my clients recommend me to somebody and they come in, and that's really where I get my best business. Well, this is why Facebook is so exciting. Because if you want to appear to be everywhere and appear to be credible, the game has changed significantly. Appearing to be everywhere means you have to have a great digital presence, a fantastic website. If you don't have one of those, we could build you one and have it look established in less than a week. A great ability to show up when people are searching for what you do on search engines, like paid pay-per-click advertising on Google or Bing. And a presence where they spend their social time, a la Facebook. So that we refer to as integrated marketing. You don't actually have to buy every single ad placement in the face of the universe. You just have to buy the right ad placements and invest in the right digital storefronts to make sure that you appear in the places where your perfect targets are. The thing that's different about Facebook is that Facebook is also connected to all of those people who are bringing you your best clients through word of mouth. So when you build a business page, not only are you building a great branding tool, another digital storefront for yourself, you're also creating a venue where you can engage with people who trust you and like you to help bring in new leads from people who already can vouch for you. It's pretty cool. It actually, whenever I think about this, I think, wow, this is the problem that marketers had forever with trying to help people really figure out what the value of their advertising was and overcome this objection that word of mouth and referral leads are my best. Well, in reality, Facebook ads allow us to find to really solve for that. They really solve for that perfectly. And that's why we're so excited about it and why it becomes such a good value. Okay, so that's sort of the fundamentals. Now, oops, excuse me, too excited. Okay, so that's why being in a social media space is important. You want to be the place where your customers are. Right now, people are spending over 50 minutes a day on Facebook, and I think that number is low. And, this is why I don't know if you've noticed, your cell phone has a little app on it that will tell you how much screen time you're spending, and it will tell you to log off at a certain time of day. I mean, people can't stop engaging with other people on their phones, right? So what's great about Facebook, just a Facebook presence, is that it allows you to build another zone where you can say who you are, right? So if you look at this little clipping of a Facebook page, and what you see is a fantastic quick snapshot of this firm, right? I see people from all different backgrounds. I see young people oh, okay, cool. This is interesting to me. Who are these people? I have kind of a sense. This looks like a younger group of individuals. All right. That tells a brand story. That's fine. But what else does it tell me? Well, look at this page. If you look below, you can see that they've gotten 102 likes. And if one of my friends liked this page, you're even going to see that referenced. So if I click on your page and I see that 5 of my savviest friends who manage their money fantastically and who are very successful have liked your page, I'm going to guess that they're probably clients. Here you go. You've already got a soft word of mouth referral, essentially. The other thing it does is it allows you to provide content. People do not trust ads that just state, this is what we do. People don't really care to respond to just a statement of fact or just a promotion. People want to know what you know, and they want to know that you care about really giving them great service. And when you provide information, a la posting things on Facebook, what you realize is that people are actually checking that to see who you are, how you think, what your message is. A Facebook page becomes sort of operates sort of like a blog, right? It really reflects the things that you know about, and it shows a depth of expertise and a level of polish, and does all of these things for you, if you have the bandwidth, to really position you and set you apart. If you don't believe that, click on a few business Facebook pages for people who, you know, have really not had the time or energy to sort of establish their pages. It really does give you a sort of a pause. You think, oh, okay, that's weird. All right, why didn't they not finish that? It's sort of like somebody's website has a 404 error. It's like, oh, what's that about? So you definitely want to capitalize on all of that opportunity to shine, but you also have to have some bandwidth to do it. So before we go into the ads specifically, I should just take a second to tell you the first thing that we started doing for clients was really building this piece of their social face for the world. The first products that we launched over a year ago in this space were social media content products that serve our clients exceptionally well. It's essentially a second digital storefront. You've got your website, and now you've got your social media space. Fantastic. But there's a catch. There's always a catch, right? So one of the great joys of my life has been teaching. I've done a lot of teaching, and one of the things I used to teach is a history of advertising. And what's really fun is to see how quickly it changes. So advertising always tracks right against media development since the dawn of time. And as media usage changes, and it changes daily, the way that you advertise in that space will change. So it used to be that you could set up a Facebook page and you could go ahead and you could just keep it full of great content, encourage your loyal customers to make great reviews and like your page, and that would generate you some good business. Unfortunately, with the popularity and the growth of Facebook business pages, what has happened is that people are getting less and less visibility. Now, conspiracy theorists might say, oh, Facebook's just trying to sell ads because that's how you get visibility. But it makes sense because the reason you keep going back to Facebook is because it's delivering you the content you're most interested in seeing. And I want you to remember that. This is important. Facebook has one of the most sophisticated algorithms in the world because it can't do anything well if you don't get the content you're most apt to want to engage with. It can't do anything else if it doesn't do that. It's just like Google can't function if it doesn't give you search results that you want. So as there are more and more businesses that people are liking and your friend groups get larger, what is happening is Facebook is saying, oh, we want to make sure that you are really, really excited about what we deliver to you. So your feed is going to be delivering you information from your very favorite businesses and your very favorite people. And so if you liked your accountant's page last year, that's great. We'll probably talk to you about it a little bit more during tax season, but we're not going to make that the most front and center information until you show that you're really thinking about that, because it's not so important to you day to day, right? And so that means that if you have 100 followers and you make a great post, only a handful of them are going to see it. And that is where you need to think about supplementing what you do with advertising, because advertising allows you to really take all that power of the social network, but then actually plan how many people you want to reach and really use it not just as a soft branding tool and word of mouth and reputation sort of reinforcement tool, but as an actual platform where you can strategize and you can focus on talking to people right now who may be ready to transact, or attracting new people who you can advertise to later when the time is right for them. I know some of you are tax preparers, some of you are not. So this may be your busy season. This may be a ramp up season for you. So I'm speaking a little generally. So the Facebook ads are fantastic because it allows you to sort of really turn this tool into something that is running on all cylinders. Here's some great stats. 79% of Americans are on Facebook, and 70% of Facebook users are on there every day. Kind of blows my mind. What's cool about the ads that run on Facebook is that not only is there this beautiful synergy, oh, excuse me, got somebody texting me. We've got the ability to target people in a way that you cannot really do any other way. So what I want to talk about for a second is how incredibly open we are, how much we divulge to Facebook. So take a second and think about all the things that you've posted to Facebook yourself. What have you told Facebook? I'm going to take some guesses here. I'm going to bet it applies to almost everybody on this call. You've told Facebook your name, the town you live in, your hometown, possibly the car you drive, your job title, if you're married, if you have children, if you have grandchildren, if you have a second home, if you have a hobby, if you have multiple hobbies, what those hobbies are. Do you own an expensive motorcycle? Do you travel a lot? Do you follow a particular magazine? Do you follow a certain news site? I mean, I could go on here forever. It just is absolutely the repository of all of our information. This is why we are able to find such fantastic people to target your ads to, because we know exactly who we're talking to. So I won't get into the details, but Facebook gives people who manage ads a few different options to create audiences. You can create audiences based on the people who already like your page, and that's always a great thing. That's how you make sure that people who already liked your page see your message for sure. So that's how they don't get lost in the algorithm that's putting grandbabies and puppies up first before, ads from your trusty CPA. It also allows you to say, hey, I've got all these great people following me on Facebook. I love my client base. They are all right in the right physical place. They're the right age. Like, man, I just want more. And we can target people who are kind of the same but different, the same but new. And then there's also other ways that you can slice and dice the world to target people. So if you're like, okay, you know what, actually, I don't want people like the current people I have. Everybody I have right now has been my client forever. They're all baby boomers. They're all retiring, moving out of state. I'm losing people. I need millennials who are finally ready to hire their first financial professional. That's what I need. I don't need who I've got. I need someone real different. We can do that too. And we can use all the information that those people shared to figure out which subset of those people are the right people for you to be talking to. There is no other platform where you can do this. And there are ways to do this. So I have this very long background in advertising, working for a Fortune 500 company. And there's all sorts of ways to pull that data. And we would never even start talking to people about being able to pull that data for them unless they were spending at least $10,000 a year. I'm just going to let that sink in for a second. And that's just on the campaign that we were pulling the data for. So this is one of those situations where you have access to the sort of information that only the biggest companies had access to. It's very exciting. So the other thing about this is that not only do you get access to it, but you get it in a really cost-effective way. Facebook has made sure to structure these ad campaigns so that they're really accessible to people, really, no matter what size their business is. Now, that being said, there are a lot of people selling Facebook management campaigns that are not going to be within your budget because they sort of, don't realize what smaller firms are really looking for in terms of a price point, and they need to charge you for the luxury of them learning about your business. We don't have that problem. We already know how your business works in a general enough sense that we can get started and provide great results out of the gate. And we can, of course, target people. Everybody's business is unique, but we understand this industry in a way that most people don't. And so we're starting a few, rungs up the ladder, which is fantastic. So we're able to really take the affordability that Facebook has built into the model and not sort of sabotage it with our own needs. We can go ahead and charge you a really manageable management fee to do this for you, so you don't have to try to become a social media marketing expert in order to capitalize on this really cool platform. And the other thing is Facebook is all about transparency of data. And so what's great is that you can really do a ton of A/B testing. And I say you, and I'm really thinking us, because I suspect you would rather be billing hours to pay us rather than figuring out how to be a marketing professional. But it's a wonderful tool, and marketers love to run these campaigns because it's so absolutely clear when something's working and when it's not. The metrics are very visible, real time, and incredibly helpful. And so that's something that, anytime we can talk about ROI in a concrete way in real time, we're happy because we know our clients will be happy. So let's talk a little bit about how they work, and then we'll talk about the details of our package. So, like I said, they're insanely targetable. I probably talked about that enough. But you also get the sort of flexibility of setting a budget that works for you. And there's also a few different types of ads that you can build. So you can have ads that just drive people to like your page. And there's a great time of year to be just building your audience. But you can also ask people to engage with you and generate a lead for you. So this is a good example here. This is a great ad that says, okay, I want this client to both like my page, so I could go there and I could click that button, and now I've got another follower that I can re-advertise to, or that I can even, well, that's really the whole point. Just leave it at that. And then if you look down here where it says plan for the future you want now, book now, I can book a consultation right from this space. So Facebook, not just great for branding, not just great for growing an audience to retarget general ads to, you're growing an audience that you can target with a clear call to action so that you can send them a lead generating ad that's going to either make your inbox full of appointment requests or make your phone ring. That is a lead generation tool, and that is how we know that these deliver a good ROI, because we can see all of that. So like I said, the different kind of ads are either like campaigns, which build your audience. This is an important part of the entire strategy because you always want to get those are warm leads, right? You want those people corralled so that you can remarket to them, give them great offers. Those are your loyal fans. And then there are click to call ads, which sometimes are totally appropriate. You can literally just have the ad go right to a phone call, which is fantastic. And then there's also the opportunity to do something similar to what you experienced when you sign up for this webinar, where we can drive traffic to a landing page, which essentially means click on this button, we're going to ask you for some information, and then we're going to close the loop by either calling you, sending you a little follow-up information, emailing you back, whatever it is. And so there's all these great ways that you can use Facebook to really work for what your business model is, for what your staffing levels are, and for what the needs are for this time of year. There's also a lot of really cool graphic and visual opportunities within the platform. So you'll be familiar with these if you spend any time on Facebook, and I know there's a 70% chance that you do. There's the main ads that run in the main news feed, and those are single image ads. They're very straightforward. That's where we use a really strong call to action. It's a good example of this here. There's also video ads. If you are sitting here feeling totally overwhelmed by how you're going to create all of these, let me just take a moment to take a deep breath and remind you, you don't have to, because we do this for people. It is a little bit overwhelming how many options there are. They're really, because it's become so sophisticated. So video ads are now actually the new gold standard. People are so inundated with messages that now, to really make sure you capture their attention, they want things to move. And I always laugh at, I feel like we just, advertising is really just the same way you get the attention of a toddler, right? It's just like, when you get sick of this noise and shaking this thing, you've got to get a new shiny thing that makes a different noise. It's the same concept. In Facebook now, a really great campaign is going to run something with motion. You can do anything in that space though, right? You can have sound, it can have no sound, it can be stock footage, it can be custom video. The options are endless. You have a Facebook page right now that has video, you can turn those videos into ads. It's really neat. When ads first came out, they were incredibly boring. Now they're really, really engaging. This is hugely important to think about when you're thinking about whether or not you want to try something like this on your own, or do you want to actually have somebody do this for you. You are going to be up against people who know all of the best tools, tips, and tricks for catching people's attention. And if you are not prepared to be doing something like making your own video ad, this probably isn't a space you want to try to do on your own, simply because you're going to be outgunned pretty quickly, because this is what the standard is now. Luckily for you, we do this. We do it very well. The other thing that you'll probably recognize is like carousel and slideshow ads. And that's basically like, oh, I've got a lot of different calls to action I want to put in here right now. Or I'm like, maybe I'm trying to test a few different offers. And so I'm going to run multiple pictures with multiple calls to action. And that's the kind of thing that we play with too, to just see, okay, like what's really this market most responsive to? People always tell us they know who their perfect demographic is. But what we've discovered is that often you've got a great established base of clients, but your best potential new clients might not be people you're real familiar with yet. And so this allows us the opportunity to kind of poke around. I love this ad. It's cool. It's like, oh, focus on what you do best. We'll handle the rest, right? And then it's like, okay, there's an ad for small business accounting, and right to the right of it, there's nonprofit organizations. So you are going to see that ad, and you're essentially delivering both messages at once. And so people have the opportunity to analyze what the response was. And if they say, oh, everybody actually clicked on that nonprofit organizations, let's go hard on that angle. That's really going to be productive for our events. We want to really drive them as much of that business as possible, because it looks like people are hungry for that message. So this is the moment where I talk to you about the pros and cons. So you've heard the pros, because I'm in love with this product. I've sold so much of this to so many people I really love and seen them have great results. the audience targeting cannot be beat. You get a great return on investment, very, very smart use of your money. It's also more brand awareness while giving you lead generation, and the reporting and metrics give you total visibility and transparency into the product. It's awesome. So what are the cons? I mean, there's always a con to everything, right? Here's the thing. If you're going to run a campaign that is going to give you that much information, right, and that is based on that much data, you could probably anticipate, if you've never looked at it before, that the back end of the Facebook ads manager is kind of complex, takes some time to learn for sure, and the time it takes to analyze your actual results and then make changes based on that information is significant. It's really ridiculous to try to figure out how to become a Facebook ads expert while doing what you do. I've always had, my whole career, I've always had a couple clients who are like, no, I can run my own Google pay-per-click ad campaign, or I can run my own Facebook ad campaign. And I always say, hey, you built a business, I'm sure you can. That is not the question. Nobody's questioning whether or not you can do this. What I ask you to question is, how many billable hours are you missing out on while doing this? And is that a good ROI on your time? Usually it's not. I mean, some people just think it's really fun, but it's probably not how you should really be spending too much of your time. Also, your ads need to be really polished. They need to be professionally built, unless you went to art school and this is like your side passion. It's like build graphically interesting visuals and videos. You don't really want to have to try to, become an expert in that space either. The other thing is, to capitalize on all of the information that you get about the response to your ads, you have to constantly be optimizing your campaigns. You can't set it and forget it. It's not that kind of space. The landscape changes too quickly. And so you really need to have a manager watching it and tweaking it for you. And Facebook is constantly changing things. If you run a Google ad campaign, it's similar to Google. I mean, constant improvements. These companies are leviathans. They have so many resources, and all they do is optimize their product all the time, which means they're constantly changing it, which means you can't learn it today and then run a campaign in 8 months. I can say this from experience. When this product launched, I help a lot of nonprofits kind of set up some campaigns, what have you. I wouldn't dare try to manage one of these day to day now, because I've been away from the hands-on piece of this for about 15 months, and it might as well be a totally different product. It's the kind of thing that requires a level of commitment that doesn't make sense for most people who are professionals doing something else. I'm also just going to take a second to just ask you not to think that this is the kind of thing that, your nephew who's great at digital things can do for you, because one of these places will be a gap. Everybody has a digital savvy person in their life who think, oh, okay, we can just let this person try it. The freelancer, the friend who's like doing a little bit of side work. I've been the friend doing the side work. I can tell you that it's not going to get the kind of attention that it really deserves on a regular basis. When you do have a company that is managing it and has constant visibility into the results, you've got somebody who really can get an alert on a daily basis about the behavior of your trend. Most freelancers and people who are doing these sort of things on the side don't have that daily visibility into your campaign so that they can make adjustments as needed. And that's where things tend to go sideways. They can kind of launch things okay, but then they go on vacation for 10 days and then don't look at it. And that's when it's sort of, you can waste a lot of money doing the wrong thing, basically. So I always like to say to people, this is really the kind of product that has so much potential that you owe it to yourself to do it correctly and to put it in the hands of, an organization that can make you look as professional as you are and also will monitor it at a high level. So, of course, we have an ads package, and it includes just about everything you could dream of needing. So the first thing that you should know is that we will create all of the targets for you based on what we already know about you if you're a current client and anything that you share with us that is specific to your current needs. We are going to build any of the ad campaigns for you. You don't need to do any of the ad building. And then any landing pages that we need to help you get those leads converted, we're building all of that. Your Facebook presence has to exist in order for this to really work. So you're also going to get advanced social media management from us. And that is the product I mentioned in the beginning of this webinar, where we create, brand, and optimize your Facebook page. If you already have a Facebook package with us, then we can just sell the ads in complement to it. If you already manage your own Facebook page, this is a way for us to layer in enough updated content and management to make sure that whatever you're already doing is going to be supplemented with enough content to really, really make sure that you're polished. The cool thing is you can always go in and do more than what we do. The 5 posts that we do a week is a great place to start, but doesn't mean you can't go in and build your own post that says, hey guys, snowstorm today, offices are closed, please call this number if you want to reschedule, I don't know, whatever. So you have the freedom to continue to use that page if you already do, but we're going to make sure there's enough content there that your ads don't get subverted by, just people forgetting to post to the page. And that really does distract people who are sort of trying to analyze, how credible you look when they look at your page. And then the last thing, and probably one of the coolest things from my perspective, is that we're going to send you monthly reporting and call tracking. So we'll be able to show you how many clicks you got to your website, how many likes you got to your page, how many calls or lead forms were filled out. So you can really say, all right, I spent this many dollars, I get this much activity. All right, that's pretty valuable stuff. And, I spent 0 hours on it. So like I said, we set up your whole account if you don't already have it. We build all the ads. A little bit more detail here is that your ads that show up on mobile will largely be like click to call. There'll be ads driving people to engage with you. And most of the desktop ads will be about building audience and retargeting that audience. You get a dedicated Facebook ads expert too, so you'll be able to really capitalize on that person who is just watching this, and that person only does Facebook advertising all day. I can actually see her from my desk. And so, she knows this better than anyone because she eats, drinks, breathes, sleeps this. So let's talk about the pricing, which I think is fantastic. So if you're on this call, the good news is for this product, we have no setup fees. That is not necessarily going to last forever. So this is a good time to start engaging with this, give this a try. And the management fee is really, really good. I know the competitive landscape for this product, and I'm telling you, this is so exceptional. It's $148 a month if you're not already a customer with us. And that gets you that social media management and the management of the ads, the content to your page and ads management. If you already have a social media package with us, thank you very much. I hope that you're thrilled with it. And it's only $99 a month to add management of the ads package. In addition to that, we need some money to pay Facebook for ads, right? So the minimum ad spend per month is $200. To be totally honest, if I could make that $400, I would. And I don't see any of that money, but just in terms of results, right, our company just passes that right through to Facebook. That's not our money, but you could easily spend $100 a week on Facebook and really feel great about your return. Some companies, that is their minimum, but we understand that that doesn't work for everybody in our world. And we want to make sure that we can give you something that will really work for your budget. So we really, really tested this to see what's a starting point where people are going to get good results, because there is such a thing as doing too little. And what do we do if they want to ramp it up? So we made it $200 a month minimum. But if you're like, this is going great, I want to ramp it up. All you have to do is call us or email us we can add $50 of incremental spend for a 30-day campaign at any point in time. And so you could say, I already paid my $200 this month, but can you go ahead and add another $300? This is amazing. I just want to ramp it up, but just for this month. And we can say, yeah, sure. And we can just increase your ad reach that much more. There's no long-term contracts with this product, which is fantastic. So we need 30 days notice to cancel, but that's it. So this is the kind of product that you can use to ramp up engagement. And then if you decide to go to Provence in August, you can turn it off and not worry about people engaging with you on Facebook and not worry about getting leads. You can just, whatever, go backpacking across the wilds of Colorado, turn your cell phone off and turn this entire thing off, and then come back next month and turn it back on. So it has this great ability to really match your lifestyle, your needs of your company and the seasonality of your business. Also, we prorate the management fee based on the day of the month, and in terms of the ad spend, we're going to adjust that based on where we are in the month too. So we're halfway through the month right now. We don't do a pure proration with the ad spend, but if you decided to launch now, we would go ahead and we would just do $100 would be the minimum suggested spend, and then of course you could always do more. If you are a tax preparer and you are looking to build your pipeline, I would say, maybe go ahead and spend that full $200 for the first 2 weeks of February to supercharge your campaign. It will not be wasted at all. You'll be happy with it. But if that's not on the budget, you don't have to do it. Your next bill for this would be happening at the beginning of the next month. So you get sort of a prorated bill when you launch, and then we charge it the first of the month. And billing here is definitely one of those things that it's a huge part of how you make your decision, right? So this is the kind of thing your IMA or your AA is going to be able to sort of talk through with you and be able to really give you the nitty-gritty of. If you're already working with us, then, we can sort of go through your current buy and sort of give you the big picture. So just give one of your reps a call and they can sort of work through this with you so you can decide, okay, does that work for me? Do I want to start it now? Do I want to start it on Monday after I've, had a minute to have my business partner watch this webinar and get as excited about it as I am? So just give us a shout and we can help you sort of work through what your best solution would be for launch. I will say, if this is your busy season and you're intrigued by this, don't delay, because every day that passes is a day that passes, and we're in the business of trying to move quickly for people when they're in busy season. So we will launch this as quickly as possible for you. Some helpful resources for you are here. They're basically all links from our blog. Before I talk about a special promo that's going to be available for people who are on this webinar today, I just want to highlight the fact that if you're trying to learn more about social media advertising, about digital advertising in general, we sell basically every product you would need to drive traffic to your digital storefront, and we provide all the information you could possibly want to figure out how to build a solid campaign. And we do that because we believe that people really do need to understand that we're experts, and they do need to feel empowered to do what's right for them. And sometimes what's right for them is a mix of hiring somebody and doing some themselves. And so we'd like to empower you. So there's white papers, there's infographics, and there's a ton of articles that are out there. So this will be referenced in the email. Before I wrap up and take questions, I also want to let you guys know that we are very passionate about helping people generate as much business at the most crucial time of year as possible. The majority of you are in the tax preparation space. And so right now, if you are interested in augmenting what you do with a Facebook ads campaign and trying some paid search, we are doing a 10% off all of the management fees and a very reduced setup of only $50. So we will also add a link to our last PPC webinar so that in the follow-up email, so that you can see what the benefits of that really are, but that is really the sweet spot for people who are trying to build as much business between now and the last day you can take a new client for busy season as possible. It is always smart to do what you see on the right-hand side of the slide, which is to tackle sort of all these different parts of your strategy as your resources allow. You want a great digital storefront, you want a fantastic website, and if you don't already have a great website, please call one of these gals right away and we'll get you one quickly that will knock your socks off. You should be doing everything you can to make sure that that site is being seen by search engines. That's part and parcel of what we do with the websites, but it's also something that we can really augment if you're aggressively looking to market your business. You need to make sure that your social media page is beautiful and really speaks the language of who you are and allows people to recommend you. And then finally, you see this pay-per-click, which is really just a reminder that how people find you nowadays is very different. We don't have yellow pages anymore. We have Google. And so you want to make sure that you're not just showing up in great organic search results, but you're also showing up when people specifically search for something that you're great at, that you're all over that page. And so that right now, this is pay-per-click season. And so our happiest customers are customers who know that this is the time to invest there. And then for lots of our clients who've just invested in our newest product, complementing that with Facebook ads can only help. It's going to increase the number of leads that you have. And the beautiful thing about integrated marketing is that they all complement each other. The one thing that we know is that when you do great work in one space with digital marketing, it actually increases the efficacy of your other solutions. So I would strongly suggest that you think about a layered approach. Ask your AA or your IMA what that would look like for you, for your budget, and for your needs and where you are in the year. And we will help you build a solution that's integrated and makes you look like you really are everywhere for your best client. Okay, I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to take a look at the questions and see if I've got anything here. Is there a fee for SEO? Hi, John. We have an SEO product. So if you actually take a look at our website, you'll see that we have very established SEO products. And that's one of the first pieces of marketing that we really figured out how to become experts in because we started a business with website design. We have multiple packages that allow you to enhance your SEO, a few different price points, and I'm just trying to see if there's another question. And so SEO is sort of its own standalone solution or opportunity to engage within a sort of a bundled package. But we would love to talk to you more about that. It's one of our premier products for sure. Let's see. I only see one other question. Oh, nope. So there they go. Sorry. Couldn't see the whole list. Okay. Yes. Okay. So the question, is there a person who is dedicated to your account? Yes, absolutely, there is. Our Facebook experts are assigned particular accounts to manage, and so they will be regularly looking at all of the data from your campaign and then making optimizations based on that, and that'll be the same person who's going to be sending you all of your feedback about your campaign's performance. So that will also be the person who's sending that. Let's see. Here we go. I am, yeah. Am I suggesting using multiple platforms? So I am always suggesting using multiple platforms, but because you want to make sure that you are in as many places you can reasonably be within your budget and your bandwidth. For social media, for these ads, these are only going to deliver on Facebook. But we really do strongly suggest that if you can invest in an integrated solution, it always just delivers at a higher level. But you start where you are. And so what's cool about Facebook ads is that it delivers the power of lead generation the way like a paid per click campaign would, but at a more reasonable budget. And for a lot of people at a sort of an entry level budget that they can afford when maybe paid search was out of their reach. So it really depends on what you need. And that's why the account advisors are so powerful as a resource, because they can help you figure out what will really work for you without trying to overextend yourself. Let's see. Who bills the ad spend? Does Facebook bill that directly, or does CPA Site Solutions? What if I don't get $200 worth of clicks? Okay, so basically you pay us and then we pay Facebook. And we know that we will be able to deliver on that spend. But if something bizarre happened and there was a little bit of money remaining, we would we would roll it over. But the way these are crafted, that would be very odd for there to be any ad spend left, because really you'd have to be in I don't know, a very, very exceptionally small geography, or I don't know. I've never had that actually happen in all the years I've been selling Facebook ads. I've never actually had money left on the table. No, I take that back. I saw it happen one time because somebody had forgot to turn on a campaign. But when a campaign is actually running, and that was at my old job, there's almost really more opportunity than most people could afford. So I wouldn't worry about that too much, but the bill, you're going to pay us and then we're going to pay Facebook. What does the management fee consist of? Are you limited to accounting ads since I publish books as part of my business? That's a great question. So the management fee is really all of the work that it takes to build the ads and then deliver on the oversight of making sure that the campaign is being adjusted appropriately, and then sending you the reporting, answering questions, etc. For the books that you publish, really that is going to be very specific. The need for that will be very specific. And ideally, this product is used as sort of generally to drive traffic based on whatever your need is. If you wanted to additionally run a specific campaign around those titles, or a release or a launch, that would be something that we would have to see if we could build into your mix. It would sort of depend a lot on the timing and what the real demands were, because we're trying to build content in the actual Facebook page and then ads that are going to get you the most conversion based on what you do more generally. And so it's sort of like LL Bean doesn't advertise like the blue tartan pants that are on sale until it knows that you're interested in those, right? So like, now you know what my Facebook ads look like, right? You're going to get like LL Bean 60% off, and then you're going to get an ad later for that thing that you showed specific interest in. So the answer to that is a little bit complex. That's actually to really drill down and see whether or not we'd be able to do that for the books that you're writing. That's a question for your advisor, because if you're writing financial planning books or books related to tax, that might make sense. If it's something that's less related, then we might suggest in concert with another solution. So yeah, sorry, that's that totally irritating, like it depends answer, but it does. Let's see. Looks like there's a couple more here. Is this geared towards bookkeeping and tax services? We're an audit firm and have never used Facebook. Is this appropriate for us? So we have built this. The reason why the first slide in this deck was for financial professionals is because we are definitely trying to deliver good solutions for people across many different sort of focus areas. And so we're not just delivering this product for accountants, but I do want to caution you that if you're like, we get really interesting clients all the time. We had a client recently who's like an accountant and a musician. We can do great things around financial products, period. What we can't do is help him with his music career. So I hope some of you are giggling because we get this all the time. People who are like, you're like, how does this person like keep all these balls in the air? It's amazing. But we can't go that far out of this space. But no, if you do audits, we can work with you. That's not a problem at all. So as long as it's really you're a financial professional, we're in good shape. Let's see. Could we do a similar product campaign for churches? That's actually a great follow-up to what I just said. Unfortunately, that we wouldn't be able to do. But that being said, if you are really interested in this, even just exploring this campaign for your primary business will give you a lot of knowledge in figuring out how to find the right provider for your the other associated businesses, because really once you see how it functions at a high level, you can understand what you're looking for, and so you could become a really informed purchaser for the service for somebody who really could play outside of the financial services puddle, as it were. The only other thing that we do in our company is medical. So you will once in a while you'll get something from somebody on our team that says pro sites, because we have a sister company that primarily works with dentists. So for us, we work with financial professionals and we work with medical professionals. And so those are our two areas. Let's see. And we're almost at time. I'm just going to see if there's one more question here. I think that's about it. Somebody's asking me, I'll give you one more. So there is a question of how many ads do you get for $200? I don't have a hard and fast answer for that because it really depends. The cost, and this is one of those things where I wish I could answer, but I can't. And the reason I can't is because the ads are not like these fixed prices. And so because the ad pricing is not fixed, we can't tell you precisely how many you're going to get. However, the reason you have a manager is because you have somebody who's optimizing the campaign to make sure you get the most value and the best sort of balance of frequency, because you want that top of mind awareness, and ideal targeting for conversions, and a nice variety of ad types, likes to build your fan base, as well as lead generating calls. All of that balancing of that mix goes into pricing. And so you're not necessarily going to need to worry about how many ads. What you want to look at is the quality of your conversions. And so really what you're going to be looking at the end of the month is like, okay, a report that says I had this much traffic to my site, I had this many leads, and I had this many people call me. And then you can go ahead and you can drill down into sort of the value of those leads and the relative mix. So because really, like, just a click to your website maybe isn't that valuable if it didn't convert, but if you know that you got X number of calls, you can really, really drill down and figure out what the value is there. So I always say, don't concentrate on the number of ads. If I only ran one ad for you and it got you, the most perfect client, that would just be dumb luck. And so, it wouldn't be, nobody would care what the cost of that ad was, right? Like if it was $2, 2 cents, $25, you wouldn't care if it converted. So what you really want to concentrate on is not just the volume, because we will plan for frequency, that's important, but really the full mix and what the ROI was for your investment versus all the things that it generated. So that is something that you should really be thinking about when you're thinking about the value here. The one thing I can say is after you run it for a few months and we get a sense of what your market and your needs are, you will get a kind of a steady read on how much traffic we can drive and how much visibility we can get you with that budget, so you will know about ratcheting it up or down. And like I said before, I think everybody should be spending more like $100 a week if they have the money, because really for most markets and most businesses, we can spend at that level and provide you great leads without overspending. $200 is really just an entry point. And so, it wouldn't be an overinvestment for most people. So I think that's it. I think that's all the questions that we have today. We're just at 5:06. I'm a couple minutes over, but we were a little bit late getting started. I want to thank you guys again for taking time out of your Valentine's Day. I hope most of you are jetting off to have a great dinner with somebody who you love, and I hope that if you have any questions at all, you'll pick up the phone and call your internet marketing advisor or your account advisor. Again, we've got great promotions right now for people who are doing pay-per-click and Facebook ads, and right now we have 0 setup fee on Facebook ads and proration for your first month. So we're making it really easy to get in the door right now. We're going to drive you a lot of business with these ad campaigns, and we're really excited to get started. Thanks so much for your time, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks so much. Happy Valentine's Day.